Hello, this is multiple intelligences. So with this approach, or if you choose this method, you are truly trying to reach the entire child. And so the activity that I chose to do is one that you're using description, and the students are trying to figure out what you're trying to describe. And so what you would basically do is you would set your classroom up into groups. Now, the cool thing about this activity is you can have different intelligences with each other, because the end goal is that they are different intelligences using what they are good at to figure out what you're trying to describe. And so each group would get a worksheet that looks something like this. And that's just because you're going to have multiple items that you're trying to describe, and they're trying to figure out what it is that you have. So an example of this would be once they are set in their groups, the teacher would go to the center of the classroom. They would not know what the item is, but I have a basketball. And so because we are still working with EL students, you can still use different linguistics while you're trying to describe the object. You obviously don't want to have pictures of anything because you're going to give the object away. So they're really just working on the verbalization of what you're trying to describe. And so I can say, okay, the first clue is the item is round. And so amongst each other, somebody can take a note, the item is round. And then clue number 2 can be the surface of the item is rough. So you're now giving another detail about the object. So now they're starting to think about how it feels, the shape of the item. You can go on to say the third clue would now be the object is orange in color. And so you would go through however many clues you want to give them, and then you kind of release them. What they do at this time, you can set a timer, and what they're trying to do at this time is they are trying to work with each other to figure out what you are trying to describe. And so the cool thing about this strategy is it can touch on, like I said, different intelligences. So even though we're not physically doing something, the kinesthetic learner might right away say, hey, that's a basketball, because that is where they shine. They are kinesthetic or bodily learners, and so they would know right away, hey, that's a basketball. Your interpersonal skill person, they're self-smart, and so they might start to view what you're trying to describe, and they'd be an asset to that group. If they're people smart, then just working within the group, that is their strength. And so again, anytime that you're setting up a activity for them to do, even if it's individualized, you are trying to reach them where they shine and where they would get the most out of the learning, which would be within their own realm of learning.